What is up, YouTube? It's Lions Fan Express coming at you with that man-to-man press. And in today's video, you already know what day it is. It's Monday, so we're gonna do another mock draft. And I'm really excited for this because I'm gonna do it a little bit differently than I've been doing in the past. Basically, I'm gonna allow trades, whether it be trading up or trading down. So as the GM for the Detroit Lions, I'm gonna be making that executive decision based on what I think is best for the team. It's going to be positional value, but it's also going to be best player available as well. It's going to be a mix of those two and who I think should be a good fit for the Detroit Lions. So again, I'm really excited for this. This is the pre-combine NFL mock draft for the Detroit Lions, mock draft 3.0. So you guys seem to like these ones, so I'm gonna bang these out and really just have some fun with it. Try to draft new players, keep it a little fresh, so we can kind of have, again, kind of like how it is with Marvel. And there's many scenarios out there when it comes to the NFL draft where we want to make sure that we're keeping all ideas open, just in case it's it's a possibility. You never know what could happen. So we're gonna start the draft. Really excited for this. We're gonna be picking at pick 6 to start off with, but that could change depending on who is available and what trade offers we receive. So yeah, let's start the draft. All right, so right off the bat, we are picking at 6, and my eyes go straight to CJ Stroud for quarterback from Ohio State. I'll be honest, I'm not huge on taking a quarterback with that 6 overall pick, but I have to say this. I am starting to warm up to the idea, if there is a quarterback such as Bryce Young or CJ Stroud, if they fall to 6, it's very tempting because you can do a couple things with that. You could either take that quarterback, okay, and then you'd have a backup quarterback and potentially your a franchise quarterback for the future, okay. But you also could trade that pick and gain a lot of capital because there's going to be a lot of quarterback needy teams that would love to jump up and secure that player. So let's see who all we have. We got Devin Witherspoon as well, Quentin Johnston, Brian Branch, who I really like, Christian Gonzalez, Anthony Richardson, so he's jumped up the boards like crazy, Lucas Van Ness, Paris Johnson Jr. I actually just got done watching his film, Kalijah Cansey. So we got a lot of good players. Basically, if I'm picking at 6, the 3 positions of need, or not need, but of 3 positions that you're really looking for in the top, really the top 10, top 5 even, is, a quarterback, a left tackle, and an edge rusher. Those are the 3 premier talent positions when you're talking about just drafting by position. Those are the 3 premier positions that any team should look for to build on. Well, if you look at it for the Lions, they got Jared Goff, okay? They have Aiden Hutchinson, and the next one would be your offensive tackle, and they have Penei Sewell and Taylor Decker. So really, you can't have enough. Obviously, you can't have enough edge rushers. But I think a lot of these guys actually got, if I'm not mistaken, that they were already taken in the draft. Let's just double check to make sure that there's anybody. Myles Murphy's still on the board, so that is intriguing as well. Let's look at the trade offers, because honestly, right now, I'm weighing it. If I can get a king's ransom for a quarterback, for someone to come up and get a quarterback, I'm trading down, and I'm most likely getting the best defensive player available. So let's check to see who has the best offer. I don't know if they're actually. Let's see. Do I actually have to make my own trades out of this? No way. Well, Atlanta's trying to see. Atlanta, they're trying to trade up, so they're probably trying to trade up in front of the Carolina Panthers, is what I'm assuming. You got the Patriots, the Commanders, the Buccaneers, the Bills, the Bengals, the Saints, and yeah, those are the teams interested. Now, realistically, if we could trade to 8 and still get some capital, like an extra 3rd round pick even, that would be amazing. New England would probably be as far back as I would want to trade. just because unless someone was to give me just an outstanding amount of capital for that player, because especially if it's a quarterback, like you can't just give up, oh well, yeah, we'll let you, trade up and just give us this pick. Like, no, you got to be asking for a lot, and that sounds greedy, but it's really not, because the top 10 pick is valuable. You can't tell me not every team picks. Only 10 teams pick in the top 10. So ultimately, let's try the Falcons. All right, let's see what we can get in return. So what do you guys think? I'm thinking let's start with. So obviously we'll get their 8th pick, and we'll give them our 6th pick. All right. In exchange, let's try to get a 3rd this year, and let's try maybe a 1st. Okay, so it says will not be accepted. So let's try a 2nd. It has a 40% chance. Maybe we try. If we try a 3rd, that's got a 60. I just don't think that's enough value though. But you know what? Let's try this one right here. So we're gonna give our 6th round pick, our 6th overall pick, to the Falcons for their 8th overall pick, the number 75, which I believe is the 3rd round, and then a 2nd round pick for 2024, which I think honestly that would be a pretty good haul in my opinion. But let's see if they accept it, and they accepted it. Okay, wow, that's great. Again, anytime if you could trade down and get some capital and build up the team, that's definitely probably the best way to go. So we're going to rock with that. I still feel like we probably could have gotten a little bit more out of it. Maybe I'm just being greedy, but still, I think that's pretty solid value, because you only drop down 2 spots. So you're not asking for, a king's ransom necessarily in that aspect. It's really when you're trading down, into the teens, into the 20s, it's like, okay, they want to jump all the way up. You have to, look for something a little bit more with a little bit more resources and draft picks. So, all right, so we're going to resume the draft, and it looks like the 2 quarterbacks got taken. So, yep, they did trade up to get CJ Stroud, which is interesting. And then Anthony Richardson got taken at 7. So 4 quarterbacks in the top 7 picks is kind of it's kind of hard to wrap my head around, but it's not that like out there. Like it's a possibility. It really is. So let's see who the best cornerback we have on here. So we got Devon Witherspoon. Okay, we got Christian Gonzalez, and we got Joey Porter. Now, all 3 of these guys, in my opinion, are great cornerbacks that could really help a team out. Again, a lot of, these are definitely starting cornerbacks. I think if I had to pick, though, I'd probably go with Joey Porter, because he's got a little bit of length and he's a little bit better of a coverage corner, in my opinion. So let's just check to see what other positions that they could possibly look at. D-line, I mean, yeah, I'd probably wait later to take a D lineman, even though that's like one of our bigger needs, because the value just isn't there yet. Edge, again, we could go edge, but that's again not a huge need, though you can never have too many pass rushers in the league. Linebacker, not really any linebackers that I feel like that are worth that top 10 picks. So basically, I'm going to go with the cornerback, and I'm going to go with Joey Porter Jr. Let me know what you guys think about that down below. If you are team Joey Porter Jr., give me a thumbs up, and yeah, let's draft him. So we already got a cornerback to bring in, to solidify that secondary. And then let's see who else. Ooh, Lucas Van Ness is still there. Kalijah Cansey is still there. Okay. Brian Brise, he's there. We got a couple receivers. Andre Carter's still there. Deonte Banks. Nolan Smith is very interesting. He's an edge. He's got coming off an injury, but definitely an interesting prospect. Hello. Look who it is. If it isn't Mr. Bijan Robinson from Texas, from Texas. Um, Very tempted. I'm not gonna lie. He can ball. I've watched his film, and he reminds me so much of Saquon, and especially if the Lions, if they're gonna go into, like, if they need to get like a running back, I would rather them go in the draft, get someone cheap and young and not as many miles on them, than go into free agency and pay big money for a running back. Not including Jamal Williams, but I'm just saying, like, if they wanted to go that route, I just necessarily wouldn't go there. So ultimately, I think I'm gonna just pull the trigger. I haven't drafted him yet, but I think that you can definitely get a good defensive lineman in the second round, along with some other, good players. So let's go, Mr. Bijan Robinson. Welcome to Detroit. Should be putting up some big numbers with that offensive line. So, all right. We got a couple trades. I'm not going to go crazy with the trades because it's not realistic. If we just keep trying to trade down and get more and more picks, we'll end up with like 20 picks. And we all know that's not very realistic. Trying to keep this as, I guess, in the ballpark as possible. But, who knows? We might have a mock draft where we just kind of go crazy with it just for the fun of it. But let's check out linebacker, because I feel like, okay, I'm surprised that they have Daniel Henley over Trenton Simpson, but I'm not surprised because I really like Daniel Henley. He's one of my favorite linebackers in this class. A lot of these guys I actually really like. Let's see. Let's check out maybe. I need to do that. Safety. They got Sidney Brown, Jamie Robinson, Jordan Battle, Christopher J.L. Skinner might be a good option. Maybe with a second pick or a third round pick. Andre Carter is there. I know he's kind of a borderline top or first round pick. Let's look at interior offensive line. Steve Avila. I haven't watched his film yet. I was actually going to plan on doing that sometime this week. I have watched John Michael Smith's, and I was actually really impressed with him. Luke Weipler, I haven't watched his film yet, so I need to get on that. But ultimately, what do you guys think down below? Do you think should go defense? I guess I'm just looking to see what quarterbacks they have. So, okay, so that means I don't see Hendon Hooker, so he obviously already got picked up. So for all you Hendon Hooker fans out there, he's already gone. D-line. When's our next pick? So our second round is 55. So we have 48 and 55. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go. Let's spice it up a little bit. All right. And let's go. Because I actually really do like Daniel Henley. So let's draft him. Let's draft Daniel Henley. Like I said, just kind of trying to keep all these options open because you never know. I do feel like Trenton Simpson is a better prospect, but it's good just to kind of like weigh our options and kind of keep options open there, so we're not like, oh my gosh, like they just drafted him when I've been mock drafting only Trenton Simpson to the Lions, so just want to keep those options open. But and then let's see, Keanu Benton is there. Okay, let's go Keanu Benton. All right, so that we get our defensive lineman, because to be honest, I'm not huge on Jack Leroy. I'm not really a fan of Gavon Dexter either. I think Keanu Benton is probably the best defensive lineman, and he can play alongside of Aleem McNeil, in my opinion. So let's draft him. All right. And, oh, wow. Okay, Andre Carter is still there. He's ranked as a first-round talent. I haven't actually watched his film yet, so I can't really speak on him, but I know I've heard some good things about, obviously his junior season. And then this year, he was definitely a little bit more, when it came to stats-wise at least, a little bit more, not as impressive as his last season. But let's just see. Receiver. I don't think that's a huge need for the Lions at all. Offensive tackle, interesting to see what they have. Interior offensive lineman. We definitely need an interior offensive lineman. Excuse me. We definitely need one. So I think we're probably gonna, let's check out safety. Who do we have at safety? Sidney Brown. We have Christopher Smith and J.L. Skinner. Oh, that's right. We have two third round picks now because we traded down. So, okay, you know what? Let's go with, out of the three of them, I haven't really watched their film, so I'm just going to take the best safety available on their chart, and I'm going to go with Sidney Brown. And then turn around with that second third round pick, and we're going to take an interior offensive lineman, and let's go with we might be able to take a interior offensive lineman with our 5th round pick though, based on just the value that they have. If he's still there, I might. Okay, no, they ended up taking Andre Carter. So let's go safety. Nope. How about let's try to double dip at cornerback. Let's take a look, see who they got. Jalen Jones. I really like Jalen Jones. Eli Ricks, Garrett Williams. All right, you know what? I haven't watched any of these top 3 cornerbacks, their film, but I did watch Jalen Jones, and I do have a 3rd round grade on him. So to me, this is definitely not a reach. This is definitely a good, solid spot to draft him. I'm going to take Jalen Jones from Texas A&M, able to flip his hips, run with receivers, good size too. He's like 6'2", over 200 pounds. And again, I wish I kind of would have went interior offensive line a little bit earlier. But you never know. The Lions might address that in free agency. Carl Brooks, okay? I've been hearing a lot about him. He's the big edge from Bowling Green. He's like 300 pounds, and he plays on the edge. He had like 12 and a half sacks this season, too. I know it's the MAC, but still, that's solid numbers. And Michael Wilson. Okay, I actually really like Michael Wilson. I watched his film at the Senior Bowl, and he was actually one of my top 3 players that performed at the Senior Bowl. So definitely someone to consider, because you never know what the Lions are going to do with DJ Chark. So let's see, interior offensive lineman. All right, let's take, you know what? I think we need to draft a guard. Definitely need to go that route. So let's take Chandler Zavala from North Carolina State. Seems like a good spot to pick him. And so we can definitely get someone who can come in and be either a backup or potentially start for us right away. And it's on a cheap year deal for, an offensive lineman, because we're already paying a lot of money for the offensive line right now. And we have contracts that are coming up with Penei Sewell as well. So if we can keep that as cost effective as possible, that would be Jonah Jackson too. So if we could really keep that as, cost effective as possible, that would actually be really good. So, okay, Dorian Williams. Oh yeah, I've heard about him. Oh yeah, you know what? I heard some good things about him. Let's see who else is just kind of like on the overall list right now. Stetson Bennett. I know that'd be interesting. That'd be interesting to take him. With that pick. So we got 2 corners. We got a safety. We got a linebacker. We got an interior lineman. We got a running back. Just check edge, I guess, just to see. I don't think any of these guys are worth that pick. Maybe an offensive tackle just for depth purposes. Definitely not a tight end. I know I've already gotten killed for even looking at tight ends. So I know it's not a big need for us. Not like everyone else makes it out to be. If I had to choose any of these quarterbacks, though, it's tough. Honestly, I probably would take Clayton Tune from Houston, maybe Tyson Badgett. But you know what? Let's double dip at linebacker. Let's take Dorian Williams. And that gives us another extra body at linebacker, you know what I'm saying? And then that leaves us with one last pick. And we really do need a backup quarterback. So let's take a look at the quarterbacks available. Okay? And then let's see if, you know what? Okay, for all you Michigan fans out there, I'm just gonna let's see. Hold up. I know you guys want me to draft him. I know, because every fan mock draft, and I'm not killing you guys for this, but every fan mock draft, I see Jake Moody with that last pick. Sometimes even like our first 6th round pick. That he's a very popular pick to go to the Detroit Lions. I mean, I'm not that I'm against it. I know Jake Moody, you know, I'm a State fan, but even I know he's a really good kicker. Like, he can definitely boot. He's got a boot. So, not to say he's not good, but I really feel like you could take a kicker. If you really wanted a kicker, though, you could probably get one as an undrafted free agent, because you guys got to remember, too, is that all these guys that don't get picked, they're still talent at the once the draft ends. So you can go, and they go out and they start, like, signing guys to their team to be on, like, the practice squad and try to make their, 53-man roster. But ultimately, I just don't feel like I think a backup quarterback is definitely a higher need than a backup kicker at this point. Again, we don't really know what the money badger is if he's going to come back to the Detroit Lions or not. But yeah, so let's go with Clayton Tune. All right, draft him from Houston. Yeah, and I actually, I know a little bit about him. He had a little bit of success with Houston, threw a lot of yards, a lot of touchdowns, but also had quite a bit of picks as well. So let's see. Okay, they're finalizing the grading process. What do you guys think down below? Or you give me A, B, C, D, F? No, we'll skip that for now. So to break it down, they gave us a B+ for that trade. So pretty much approved of that trade. Definitely thought we got some value for that. Gave me a C- for Joey Porter Jr. So Pro Football Focus is not as high on Joey Porter Jr. as I am, but that's okay. Bijan gave me an absolute D+. Lions fans, help me out. You guys think that was a D+ pick? If so, leave it down below. If not, please give me some backup here. Danian Henley, though, they gave me an A for that. Okay, so that was a solid pick in their eyes. Keanu Benton was a C-. Again, he's not a game changer, but he can play. Like, he's kind of like a Lee McNeil, like not necessarily like a game changer, but he does his job and he does it pretty well. So, Sidney Brown, that dude's a ball hawk. Like him, I don't know why if they make Illinois like DBs different, but like that's one thing I noticed is like Kirby Joseph from last year, he was a ball hawk. When I watched this film, he had like 5 interceptions, and it was like his first season playing like full-time safety, and he was going and he was hawking that ball. Sidney Brown does the same thing. Like, I literally saw one of his film where he just like was on the other hash, diagnoses the play, sprints all the way across the field, goes up like, to catch the ball, and has to like, throws himself back and catches the ball. And it was like, man, that's what you look for in a safety, though. You look for someone who can cover the field like that center fielder in like baseball would. So really like that pick. Jalen Jones, again, they give me a B-, so they know what's up with Jalen Jones. He's definitely a solid player, and he adds good depth to the cornerback spot, because we definitely need some players in the DB, in the secondary. They gave me a C for Chandler Zavala, so pretty just, kind of an average grade on that. Wasn't so thrilled on him as well, but, it is what it is. Dorian Williams, they gave me an absolute A+. They were really high on him, and the fact that he slipped all the way to round 6, I guess, was a surprise to the system, so they gave me an outstanding grade. I'll take it. And then, of course, to round it out, we had Clayton Tune from Houston with a B-. So, to me, unless I'm like missing things right here, you know, we got our D lineman, our D tackle, and Keanu Benton. We got not just one cornerback, but two cornerbacks. We got a linebacker, two linebackers, a safety. We got a guard that could potentially, you know, come in and start if he needed to, and a dynamic playmaker at running back, and potentially a backup quarterback that has potential upside. So overall, I mean, you know, and this draft would have been completely different if I would have went quarterback with the, you know, 6th overall pick. It's just something to throw it out there. Like I said, I mean, I'm not saying against it. It's just like, if we didn't do that, we wouldn't have gotten a lot of these guys, because it does change the draft board, because then you have to like kind of go back to your needs, and you got to look for your cornerbacks, you know, and you got to look for your D linemen, and you got to look for your linebackers in the later rounds, because you use your high end draft pick to get the cornerback. Now, again, if Brad Holmes wants to take a quarterback, if he falls in love with the guy and he wants to take it, I can't knock him for that, because at the end of the day, unless you have your Patrick Mahomes, your Josh Allen, or even like a rookie quarterback that's balling out, that you want, you know, to continue to grow, and you have on a cheap deal, you usually want to at least entertain the idea of drafting a quarterback, just because it's cheap, and you never know. You could always develop them. They could be a good backup. Again, not saying anything bad about Goff at all. I actually love Goff. I'm just saying that it is an option, you know, and I'm kind of slowly preparing myself just in case that does happen. I would still be surprised, but I wouldn't be shocked. But I went a different route. I took mostly defense, trying to get this defense up, but also taking some, key offensive players as well. So let me know what you guys think down below. You guys, you gave me a B+ on here. You guys give me a B+. You know, are you guys thinking it's higher than that, lower than that? If you guys have any questions about any of these players, I'd definitely feel free to, leave that down below as well. Again, most of these guys I have watched film on, so I can kind of have an estimate, or I can give you an analysis of what I truly think about these guys, except for maybe a couple of, later round picks. But ultimately, yeah, excited to do this. Again, this is the pre-combine, so things might change a little bit. Obviously people are going to go up on the mocks and down depending on how fast they run. I know I'm just being sarcastic, but ultimately, I have fun with these, and I hope you guys have fun with this as well. So with that being said, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share with your family, your friends, and just, as always, go Lions.